Hey, welcome to the first layer. Look who's with me. That guy. Hello? He's frozen. He was here and now he's frozen. Just my luck. Hey, I want to say thank you, first of all, to Snapshot FPV for the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Starting off the day right. Accord XTC also in there with a $5 super chat. Thank you again, fellas. That really goes a long way to helping us out. And there's a lot of people here. Brian's frozen, obviously. So I don't know what we're going to do there, but he'll be back shortly, I'm sure. I don't see... maybe he'll come in on the chat. Who knows? We could only hope. And now we're get rid of this. I got some things I'm trying to manipulate here. All right. So everything is not working. I have Brian now, but I can't hear him. I can see him. He's moving, but I can't hear him yet. And for whatever reason, Jerry's not getting our feed. All right.
Hey, can you hear me now, Richard?
I can.
Okay, perfect. I can hear you now. Good, finally. Oh my goodness.
Are you ever loud? I'm just gonna.
Am I loud? Oh, okay. Let me go.
I just turned you down a little bit.
I haven't done any calibration with this microphone yet. This is our $30 special, so bear with me here.
Got to do what you got to do.
Oh, yeah.
Brian sold all his printers. No, he didn't. He didn't. Unfortunately, we're having problems with the vMix social chat, so we won't be having anything underneath today. I'm going to have to watch it as things transpire because it's not going through to vMix for whatever reason. All right. He doesn't have a beard. Yes. Hey, we're 4 years old, actually, tomorrow. Monday.
Yes.
4 years we've been doing this. Wow.
Wow. So, yeah, it's been a while, eh?
it has. I remember the original conversation I had when I wanted to start this. What is beeping?
I'm living in a hotel right now, so I have like microwave lunch up here. So bear with me, guys. Gotcha, I'll just mute myself for a minute.
So I even shaved for you guys today. Look at that. Look at that. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Yes, thank you very much, Anne. We've got lots of things to tell you about. First and foremost, if you haven't watched yesterday's episode, please go ahead, watch that, leave a like, leave a comment, make sure that you're a subscriber to the channel, because all the names that have liked and subscribed, you have to do all that stuff and leave a comment. So there's 3 things to do. Be subscribed, like the video, and leave a comment on the video. Your name is then going to go into a draw for a mystery box. Now, I'm giving away 2 mystery boxes every month till the end of the year. So there's 2 mystery boxes in October, 2 in November, and 2 in December. Now, one of those mystery boxes is going to have a special sticker in it. Now, that sticker is the very first sticker we ever made for the first layer. If you get that sticker, you will also be receiving a little card that says you will get 10% off your next order on shopthefirstlayer.com. Now, that being said, shopthefirstlayer.com is just about ready to launch. I wanted to launch it yesterday, but I'm still working on a couple of things on the e-commerce side of it. So once that's done, it's going to go up. I'll let you guys all know. And we've got some parts up there. We've got filament on there. We've got some Voron stuff on there as well. If you need a custom Voron decal because you're making a decal, or because you're making a Voron, we can accommodate you as well. Brian looks like he's having a strobe stroke there. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't.
I got some like $7 ring lights from Walmart because I'm such a fancy man to try and help with the lights. Here they are. This is so today, guys. Hashtag no filter. We're super pretty here. Actually, you know what? These aren't too bad. I was trying to get a quick ring light, and all they had were these little like USB ones with a camera filter built into it. They're not bad. You know what? For $7, why
lights
not?
you up. Somebody's asking, why
Yeah.
are you living in a hotel? That's from James Lane.
Okay, that's probably overly dramatic for me to say I'm living in here, but I am currently on the road in Northern Ontario again for my day job, and it just so happens we are getting Sundays off, so it lined up perfectly. I thought, you know what? I can quickly set up a rig in the hotel and do a job, but you know what? I didn't bring the right microphone for it. I'm using my Bluetooth headset, and I somehow justified an hour and a half each way trip down to Canada Computers down in Barrie. So I've got this budget mic, and I actually did bring my good webcam. This is my C920, but again, this is just right out of my backpack 2 minutes ago is when I got home. So so
now is there an echo, Jerry?
Today, but
everything Brian said.
Jerry says you're coming in on an echo. I don't know if anybody else is hearing that.
I will have to check, but I am not hearing. Of course, I'm not hearing any echo on my side. So,
okay. Anybody else hearing an echo? Just my wife? She's crazy anyway.
Oh, here it starts.
Accord says you're not far from him. Pierre says no echo on his end. No echo, no echo, no echo. So it's only my wife. She's crazy. Oh, she said she's going to go listen to something else, she says. Okay, so everybody, thank you for the birthday wishes, by the way. Brian, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yes, you're in Northern Ontario working for your day job, actually, so you're coming in.
Yeah, I'm not too bad this time around. I'm up in Muskoka country, actually. So if you've ever seen a Muskoka chair, it's probably from this area.
There you go. There you go. We
Am I
are
in stereo? Ooh.
We should both be in stereo, actually. But, okay.
I don't know. This is hello from the left, hello from the right, and coming up the center. Hello, everybody.
You know, it's one of those days we were trying to bring Jess in via Skype and nothing was working. She could not hear me, but I could hear her, and it was dumb. So we're going to try this again at another later date where we can get everybody involved and have all four of us. I want to let you guys know that this contest that we've got going on, it's for everybody who is a subscriber or a member. Members are automatically entered into all of our contests. Doesn't matter what we're doing. We have our own merch. As you guys know, we've been doing the t-shirts. Several people have already gotten t-shirts that they've ordered, and it all goes to helping fund the show and to keep the lights on. Things like that. So if you guys want a t-shirt, we still have t-shirts available. All you got to do for the next week is just send me a message to richard@thefirstlayer.com, or you can send me a message over Messenger from Facebook. That will work as well. So if you guys want to do that, you can certainly do that. And we do certainly appreciate your business. We've got medium, large, extra large, and 2XLs in stock right now, but we can also get smalls and 2X or 3XLs, 4XLs, whatever you guys need. So 2XL and larger are $25. XL and lower, the small, are all $20. So, or $19.99. We will also be having filament on that website from Matter 3D Filament. We are going to be carrying their filament in stock here. Want to thank Aman and his crew for allowing us to do that and working with us so that we can bring you guys even more and start to build out our own online shop. So we know that we've had it for a while and not much has really happened with it, but now that we've got some product and we can start moving things, we can start bringing you guys some stuff. So where are we going to ship this? Because I know that question is going to come up. The mystery boxes are going to be shipped all over the world, so it doesn't matter where you're from. We're going to ship you a mystery box if you are the winner. Now, the first winners will be announced on our live stream on the 17th, so mark that down. And then we are going to do another drawing on the 31st. So make sure that you are in these by being a subscriber, leaving a comment, and liking the video. It certainly helps our metrics, and there's lots of great stuff in there. There's some surprises that you may not expect from us.
That's how you're going to open this with. I mean, with the conversations we've had, that's more concerning than it is to celebrate, I think.
There's going to be some cool stuff in there.
Yes, they will be.
There will be some cool
stuff and good stuff. It's not going to be anything dirty or shameful or anything to reinforce your idea of our characters.
So, in other words, you will not be getting the naked statue of me.
Oh, man.
I know it's a collector's item, and it's very, very rare. But if you're looking for something, Jabba the Hutt's the closest thing. Okay.
There you go. I was gonna say, doing a Richard Hutt or
what? Hey, why are we here? Well, because you guys are here, and we've got 29 viewers right now. Thank you very much. Make sure you hit that like button on today's show. We've got 11 likes so far. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you're not a member, hit that join button. For as low as $1.99 a month, it sure goes a long way to helping us out. So, likes. The Apprentice 2021. Likes, he says. I agree. All right, let's have a look and see if anybody's got any questions. Nobody has any questions. Nobody says, everybody says the audio is fine, so that's great. I even turned down my audio a little bit today so it wasn't so overpowering.
Well, I just plugged in this mic for the first time like 30 seconds into the show, so I saw the volume was at 0%. I cranked it to 100 because that's what we used to do before we had DAX. You always wanted maximum gain. So you guys let me know if I'm peaking or
I've turned you down here a little bit. So
yeah, I can pull back this side too if it's coming through dirty, guys. And unfortunately, vMix tends to compress guests anyways. So even though I might have a better quality setup on this side, doesn't always come through. And I'm sure you guys have seen that when I produce a video versus when I connect through. The fact is, we can talk maybe about this because we've been using vMix for the whole production of this show. And, we would probably switch to something else if there was a better option right now. But as it stands, it's like $400 US to get more guests into vMix. So we don't want to do that. And when it comes to things like OBS, which I primarily use, there's still no clean solution for multi-callers. We've tried StreamYard and stuff like that, but we like the higher quality feed. At least you guys get the higher quality feed from Richard, not so much from me. But there are not a lot of options out there for video conferencing solutions for YouTube broadcasts. So that's why we are kind of still with vMix. That's my kind of ramble here, but good to see. At least then we got some questions coming in here. First, we got Snapshot FPV.
Yes.
Just fit a micro Swiss hot end onto my Ender 3. It's working great. However, Capricorn tubing doesn't seem to fit tightly to micro Swiss. Why not? That's a great question, actually.
Actually, I have an answer to that.
Richard, I was going to say, why don't you go ahead there? Take that one.
Grab a bite. The reason is because the outer diameter is not the same as regular Bowden tube. It's actually slightly smaller than regular Bowden tube. And that's why you're not getting that completely tight fit. One of the things that you can do if you've got some of this, just take a little bit of Kapton tape and wrap it around the end that goes into the Micro Swiss hot end. And then bring that black portion up and slide the clip in, and you should be all locked in, and that should be just fine. Just a wrap of Kapton tape is enough to give you that thickness that you need for those teeth to really grab into the Bowden tube.
Now, that's not 100% given that will work too, just because Kapton tape does have a little bit of smoothness to the surface.
It does, yeah.
If you look inside a Bowden connector, you have little steel or metal teeth that are supposed to go and bind into your tube, and that's what grips it. Now, they're pretty blunt. They're not overly sharp, like they're going to cut open your finger. And that's the downside when using a Kapton tape, for instance, is that although it's going to grip really well to the Bowden tube, the actual Kapton tape getting pierced by that clip will be a bit of a shot in the dark. And if you put on too much, then you're just doing pressure fitting. It can become headaches. Mm-hmm. this is one of the downsides of 3D printer technology is as it's evolved, there's been a lot of over-the-counter solutions for things such as Bowden tubes and clips and so forth, because it's based off industrial standards. Usually, Bowden connectors are actually used for pneumatic air systems. So there's been a lot of confines to keep it within that space. But as we get these better quality products where we don't need as much diameter, now there's going to be more custom solutions. So for the time being, I agree with Richard that the Captain tape is probably going to be your best route for that. But let us know. Let us know how it grips in there. Let us know if it does continue to slip out. Honestly, it's still better than nothing.
Now, the next question is dealing with, this comes from the Sanska. He says, what are your thoughts on the E3D Revo hot end? Now, this is, for anybody that doesn't know, this is, the Revo's the most accessible extrusion ecosystem you'll ever use. It's a rapid change. It's part of the rapid change family. So it says it's the freedom to do the right tool. It looks like there's several different nozzles that you can quickly replace. Minimum downtime, engineered for safety. So that's good. It's a little different than their regular sort of hot end setup, from what I can see here. The
idea is that they're combining the nozzle and the heat break all into one part.
Yes.
And that carries benefits and major concerns too. For those of you who haven't been following E3D this week, they've finally been put in a very difficult decision on where they stand with open source versus closed source design moving forward. And I think their response was excellent. If you haven't had a chance to go to their site and read it.
Oh, hold on. Sorry about
they
that.
actually do cover it quite well.
Sorry, I cut you off there. So I brought up the website so that you guys can kind of see what's going on here. There's a little video. We can't play that because of copyright issues, but we can look at the way that this is set up. And you can see here on the screen now. Brian, can you see that as well?
Yeah, I can. So This is kind of what I was going to talk with you guys about real quick is they've combined the nozzle assembly and the heat break all into one part. Now, the reason they do this is because it's going to be much easier for you to swap out a nozzle and based off their color coding system, know what nozzle is in there if you forget. So this is, the downside, of course, is that there is going to be an increased cost. And if any of the parts in there are damaged, you have to replace the whole piece. That being said, E3D has never been exactly the cheapest product in the world. And the idea is supposed to be if you install it right and you take your time, you're never going to need to swap that out. But this is, and this was something actually I've been contemplating myself, is why haven't manufacturers just made a streamlined nozzle system all the way down? And I think it just came down to a lot of companies don't want to spend that money redesigning it, whereas E3D is always focused on innovation. Mm-hmm. So E3D, again, there's probably going to be someone cloning this within a few months just by looking at it, but they've done the research, they have their higher quality machining, and it certainly does look lovely. Now, the only kind of caveat I would have with this system is just looking at it visually, it actually looks incredibly large. And I think you're going to have to, if you want to retrofit this onto your machines, you're going to have a larger vertical work area. There's also the inherent risk of new vibration on especially our bed slinger designs, just because of that extra length. We've kind of touched on it a bit in the past, but when it comes to E3D at the end of the day, you can see E3D, they are doing their best to optimize things and also make it easier for you to print, because the hot end is, from what I see, the biggest struggle with 3D printer users when it comes to parts, and anything to make it easier and more consistent long-term is awesome in my books. Richard, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I just scrolled down, and just so you guys can see a difference here, you can see the old thermistor setup on the left, and then their new thermistor heater core setup for this Revo on the right. Now you can see that there's a completely different look to them all. In the traditional way of doing things, if you had a problem with your heater core, you could pull it out and put in a new one, and that very user-friendly. What it looks like to me now with the right hand here, the heater core for the Revo, is that if this for whatever reason fails, you now need a whole new heater core. So instead of buying just a thermistor or just a heater core, now you're having to buy this whole assembly. Is that good? Is that bad? It's all going to depend on where you want to put your money and how good you are at printing. Because if you're still a relative noob or a beginner, I hate using that word noob, it just sounds so dirty. If you are still a beginner or just getting started in the hobby, I don't think this is the way to go in my mind. As I scroll through these pictures, they look great. The Chimera, this whole new setup is very similar to the Chimera heat break over the traditional V6 interface. Is it good? It looks like it still uses the same fin setup as the V6. Is this going to be good for you?
Just comment on that quickly, yeah. Richard. I think, who was it here that brought this up? Dominic Versetto. He actually kind of nails it. For those of you who haven't shopped for hot ends recently, it's kind of a cool knockoff of the Raptor hot end, which indeed uses that same heat sink design. Now, the one thing I just want to talk real quickly about this new hot end, the one thing that does stick out because of this combined nozzle and heat break assembly now, is guess what? There's no longer a risk of filament weeping out if you haven't torqued your hot end tight enough, because the point that it comes in contact with the next screw point is up in the cooling area. So, of course, clearing clogs will be a pain in the butt if you need to remove parts. But you're no longer going to have to worry about that technique that we talk about. Install the nozzle, back it off a bit, heat it up, tighten it back up. It's all designed from the factory. So the concept of traditional clogs from that concept is gone completely with this new design.
Well, I just wanted to look at the price here. It looks like it's roughly $120 US for this setup, which is roughly about $40 more than the traditional E3D V6. I'd like to get one of these in for testing, just to try it out.
Absolutely. And Richard, if you notice there, it's actually including all 4 nozzles with that base package.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good things going for this, but until we've tested it out, we won't be able to give you a definitive answer on it. It looks good. I see a couple of drawbacks just based on the statistics and the information that they've proved here. But you know that when you go with E3D, you're going with a long-term trusted company. So that's something that you should really take into account. Having that trust in a company is very rare, especially these days.
And knowing that we're talking about 4 years with the channel here, to this day, our opinion has not changed.
Yeah.
Knockoff J-heads are going to cause you more headaches than the value in buying a proper E3D V6.
I agree 100% on that. And I will not change my opinion on that. When you buy knockoffs, you get what you pay for. And sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. And in the case of anything E3D that's a knockoff, I've never been pleased with a knockoff. Yeah, you can buy an E3D V6 knockoff for $8 on Amazon, or you can buy a genuine E3D for $80 on Amazon. 8 versus 80, I mean, economics say you're going to go for the cheap one, but if you've got to replace that every 30 days, I mean, the value is gone because now you're spending more and more money. Henry Stofferin, thank you very much for the $5. It is really coming in handy.
Super chat.
He says, I need to set up retraction on printers. Do you have an up-to-date video? We haven't done an up-to-date video on setting retraction, but there is one that's not that old on our channel. But if you need me to go through another video on retraction, I will definitely go in and talk about retraction for different hot ends, why retraction is important. Yeah, go ahead.
We can summarize this quite quickly. If you have a Bowden setup with the Bowden tube going down to the block, between 5 and 6.5 millimeter defaults on Cura is awesome. If you have an all-metal hot end, you can no longer use retractions of that height, and that is the source of most people's clogs. Yeah. So what do we recommend? We recommend start lower the better, usually 0.5 or 1 millimeter retraction. And then if you decide to go and increase that, just be aware at a certain point it might clog midway through your print. So when it comes to retraction, I usually don't recommend going any higher than 1.5 millimeters. I actually recommend you back off your temperature a little bit to reduce the stringing, because that's what you're looking at solving with a higher retraction. Also, it adds extra print time. If you think about it, it's minuscule, but how many times do you do a retraction in a print? If you can eliminate that altogether with a technique such as using linear advance or other coasting methods, rather than going and pulling that filament back, it's going to add up to several minutes in very long print times. So again, we do recommend with all metal hot ends to keep that retraction really low to begin with. Preferably bump back the temperature before you increase that retraction distance. But I can say firsthand, anything higher than 2 millimeters on an all metal hot end is just asking for it to bung itself up in the heat break. And we've talked for many times before about why that is. And over the course of all of our years of 3D printing, the reasoning behind that has not changed one bit. We've gotten more optimized hot ends that can heat up quicker and melt quicker, but the retraction numbers have always been the same. And that will be the same thing that we suggest, that Shep suggests, that Angus over at Maker's View suggests, is that retraction is meant to prevent stringing, but it's not always the best fix.
And stringing is
Henry's
not
saying he has the Micro Swiss.
Yeah,
Henry, for the Micro Swiss, 1.5 at the max.
Yeah, 1.5 to 2, I would say. I usually can get away with 2, and it's not a problem. 2 millimeter retraction. But bear in mind, if you're getting stringing is not always a cause of retraction. Stringing can be a cause of you're cooking the filament too high. For one, you don't have right retraction. That could be number 2. Number 3 can be that you have too much moisture in your filament. And this is something we've talked a lot about lately. Having too much moisture in your filament is one of those things that you can't immediately recognize, but you'll certainly hear it audibly when you're near your printer and you're doing a print. And your print, chances are, if it's got too much moisture in it, it's going to fail. Matt Gurman, what machine you recommend to make lithophanes? Because I want to check out some of the other printers which recommended for one of the printers you do. I need to begin with a 300 by 300 by 300. Oh
wow! You need bigger than 300 by 3. That's a big lithophane.
That's a big lithophane.
Okay, so quick tip of the day for you guys, and I don't know, this seems very obvious to me, but I've found this isn't. If you want to maximize the build area of a lithophane, rotate your model on Cura or whatever 45 degrees. And by the law of, what's the old Pythagorean law? I'm going to fail all my school stuff. The a squared plus b squared equals c squared. If you have a 45-degree angle across a bed that's 300 by 300, my math's going to be a bit off here, but you're going to get close to at least 350, 360 millimeters of effective build space. Yeah. And as a benefit with your printer, you're always going to have 2 axes moving, so the direction change is way lighter, notably on a bed slinger. So if you're thinking, that 310 by 310, Pythagorean, yeah.
There you go.
Tim there is going to mock me about it. But for a lot of things that I've had to print that were bigger than 300 millimeters, rotating that 40 degrees, 45 degrees on your build plate, you're going to gain yourself an extra good chunk of distance. And especially when it's something thin like a lithophane, you can print corner to corner, and you might find you're actually going to have less vibration in it too.
Now, as far
Richard,
as
you're more up to speed on these printers. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm going to say is, more than not, I'm going to recommend that you buy a Creality, either a CR-10, a CR-10S V2. You need to get bigger than 300 by 300. They print very, very well. Anything, I can't recommend any other printer of that size because, well, actually I can. The Bluer Plus is a very good printer for that as well. The Bluer Plus, fairly inexpensive printer. It works really well to do lithophanes. I've done a lot of printing on that. I actually don't have a CR-10 anymore. And the reason I don't is because I just have way too many printers in my house. So I would seriously recommend that you look at a Creality in the 300 to 400 range. And when we're talking about those lithophanes, so this is the way a lot of people do their lithophane, so that the lithophane is facing them. So as Brian said, if you turn that 40 or 45 degrees, you're now gaining corner to corner more space on your printer, but you're also reducing anything that can possibly leave layer lines or misalignment or layer skipping or anything like that. You're going to get the best print. Now, back in the day, we used to turn them a full 90 degrees because on the y-axis, for whatever reason, it just came out cleaner when you did it that way. So, but if you go 45 degrees, I think you're going to get a little bit more range out of your bed, and you're going to still avoid all of the issues that we see when we try and do lithophanes like this.
Now, just to add to that, bear in mind, I don't do a lot of lithophanes. However, if I was doing full-time lithophanes, I would look into a cube-style printer, and I would probably go with a Voron. And the reason is because if you ever look at the majority of print time on lithophanes, you have a lot of micro direction changes, which are slowed down immensely by our acceleration limits we put in place on lots of things such as bed slingers. Now, with the Voron, if you've seen the speed videos where it can change direction as quickly as it does, and you have, millions of little directional changes on that, your print time is going to drop as much as 50 or 60% if you have that machine dialed in. Now, the Voron is a very, very large investment in both time and monetary value. And the reason why we've been a little bit delayed on getting ours out is we have encountered little caveats in the design. Sourcing parts is brutal right now. We haven't been able to give the machine the time it deserves to give you guys the full detailed review. That's not to say that we've abandoned the project. It's just still in process, and there hasn't been an interim video to encompass that. But the Voron, if you are willing to commit your time and your money for it, is going to be the best printer you can build in that range. Joseph Prusa doesn't even make a machine in that size, as far as I'm aware.
No, he doesn't.
Otherwise, I would recommend a Prusa variant if you're serious about doing this full time. You know, we do love Prusa stuff. It's extremely expensive, but you get what you pay for.
You bet.
But he has nothing larger than that. So our next commitment basically is the Voron design as the de facto printer for speed and quality.
Now,
and, Bardicus is saying rat rig. I want to build a rat rig. I have not had the time or the resources after I've bought a bunch of parts for my own custom Vorons. Our great friend DeWitt 3D here, Tim, is actually actively building his rat rig on his channel, and I think you're on to part 8 or something now, Tim. I haven't kept track, but I highly encourage you guys to go and subscribe to him and watch his series, because he has been able to cover it much more in depth than we have a chance for at this stage.
David Harmon saying there's a Prusa class Core XY first quarter of 2022. Well, I'll be interested in seeing that when it comes out. It's called Prusa Plus XL. Be very interested in that. Now, there was one other question here. Hawks. He says, for Shop the First Layer, are you going to have larger mugs, say 16 to 20 ounce? Unfortunately, not right away. We are only going to have 11 ounce mugs when we do launch the mugs. They are being done through sublimation. And this is what our old mug was done, through sublimation as well. Basically, you make a print and you heat transfer that to your mug. Now, in order to be able to do that, we need special mugs, and we need special paper and a special printer. And I've got something on my mug. My mug's filthy. This is my old mug. The new mug.
It's lasted. That's the thing, right? It's lasted. How old is that one now? 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years. I got this when we started our Teespring store. And to be perfectly honest, they do it exactly the way that we're going to be doing it, because we have the mug heat press here. We just don't have the sublimation printer yet. And part of that goes to the money that we receive here on Facebook, gets dumped into some of that kind of stuff so that we can make more merch for you guys. Now, you've seen our new T-shirt. Go ahead. We probably
haven't. We haven't spoken a lot about it, but we are in-house manufacturing all of the merchandise right now. This is something that Richard is doing at his house. To an extent, I have some ability at my house. with the heat press and all that, but we are designing the designs, we are cutting the vinyl ourselves, we are pressing them on the shirts ourselves, we are purchasing the shirts ourselves. So unfortunately, we don't get as big of a volume discount as you would expect, but we are buying good quality sources rather than going to Walmart for the $6 shirt special. So when it comes to mugs, notably, I haven't even seen Richard's mug press yet because we've been very busy, but they give a certain definition of the sizes of what we can offer. And then we can go and source good quality items to transfer that sublimation material on. So it's this is very new to us. This is a couple months in where we just had the right opportunities to get the right hardware and just wanted to give the kind of things a go. So when you're ordering shirts right now, they are made to order. We don't have a big backstock of them there, and that's why it takes a little bit of time to ship out. So, Richard, you can maybe talk a bit more on the website because you've been working very hard on it.
Yeah,
and
the website,
I haven't even seen it yet myself.
The website is shopthefirstlayer.com has got being totally revamped. So there's going to be easier ways to get in. There's going to be better shipping rates. Thank you. We signed up with a company to get much better shipping rates all over the world, not just in Canada and the US, but all over the world. I recently sent a t-shirt to the US, and it was only $10 to send that shirt to the US. So bonus, as opposed to $40 if I went through Canada Post. So it did still go through Canada Post to a certain extent. No, actually it didn't. It got transferred directly to the US and then was sent out in the US. But that being said, our good friend Tim over at DeWitt 3D Canada, Tim owns a printing shop, and Tim has done our stickers for us, our new stickers, which are absolutely beautiful. I came up with the design, Tim did the stickers, and we are giving some of those away. You will receive one of those in your mystery box, just so you know. If you buy a t-shirt, you're also going to receive one. And while I still have them, you will be receiving an old sticker as well, an old logo sticker from before we made this new change. And then
the good old classic one,
yeah. And then eventually we'll have some car decals available for you. These are all vinyl made from Oracal 651 permanent vinyl. So they're made to go on your car or on glass, or you can put them, I guess you can put them just about on anything. But there are some materials that vinyl doesn't stick to, as we've learned. So. As we've learned, yes. So I
just want to give a shout out here because I know we kind of glanced over it here, but DeWitt 3D Canada, who's our good friend Tim, the business is called KKP. And Tim, I would very much love you to go ahead and post a link to your business because we always love to support Tim. He's made all of our business cards, and he's been in the printing business for a long time and does everything locally in Calgary as well. Yeah. So it's not like he's farming anything out, and we want everybody to succeed. I swear actually by Tim's printing services, and I go out of my way to drive the 40 kilometers to it instead of using someone local. So Tim, if you want to go ahead and just post a link out there to get some people your way, I'd be more than happy to support that.
Yes, anytime that Tim has become a really good friend, not just a business acquaintance, but he's become a really good friend. We do a fair amount of stuff together from time to time, and I will be going to his place to help him build the CR-30 when he's done with the rat rig, and that is still coming up. So I'm going to be on his show, and he's going to be back on our show. He's got his link there in the chat right now. It says our website is www.kkp.me. So if you need printing services, please check out Tim. He's got a lot of great stuff going on there.
I'm gonna as I revamp my studio at home, you might see some prints in my backdrop that were printed by Tim. So
Henry, if you didn't get a sticker, just send me your email or send me your mailing address, and I'll send a sticker out to you. Sorry about that. Sorry to cut you off, Brian.
Oh, no worries. part of the thing, guys, just so you are aware, there is a small time delay between Richard and
Yes.
I here. And I'm not used to recording this way anymore. So as a result, I'm hearing my own voice echo through my jaw with the bass line, and I don't know how I'm coming through. So apologies if there's any noise. I did also turn off the AC in the hotel room, so it's not too noisy, but I might get a little roasty toasty here.
Pierre says link doesn't work. Yeah, Henry, just send an email or a message. You know how to get me by messenger with your address, and I will send you out a sticker. What else we got here? Colby Olson, what's the best way to dispose of my wash water from my model? Wash water, do you mean that it's actual water and these are from your resin prints? Or is it alcohol that you're trying to get rid of? That if you are trying to get rid of your wash water from your prints, you can dump that directly down the sink. It won't hurt the environment very much.
If you're dealing with resin, though, you really need to make sure that you filter out those particulates. That's a big one. So if the wash water is for resin, put it out in the sun for a day, filter it out, and then chances are what else in there can be go down your drain. But please review your local laws when it comes to disposal. If you're ever unsure, contact your local fire hall, because that's where all hazardous goods are collected that don't go to the dump. And they will at least be able to tell you where to get rid of it, or they will accept it right there.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that you want to make sure of, he says it is wash water from resin prints. Now, the resin that you're using, is it water washable or is it alcohol washable? Because typically what I do, I don't use water washable. I find that it's not a very good resin for long term, because the problem with water washable is that it gets stuck inside the model. And any amount of cleaning, no matter what I've seen, over time, that resin that is still in there that doesn't wash out tends to crack your model, and it'll break it on a layer line, and it just looks horrible. I've know other people that have experienced that as well.
It's almost a given whether or not it's a solid model or it's a hollow model.
Yeah.
The water washable resin, part of it is due to how the water wash actually works, and this is kind of the key: is if you over cure it, you end up actually having little pockets of water that will never escape again.
Yeah.
And so, to be honest with you, I've actually moved away from water washable resins unless I'm using it to make an immediate mold of something, because it just doesn't last. And some of my friends had beautiful model prints that they came back 2 weeks later and they were shattered in pieces in a room that had no sunlight, had no temperature change. It's just something about the composition, because water washable is new to the market and has variations on it. ABS I do like that stuff.
Me too.
And when it comes down to the challenges of cleaning any ABS resins or anything, we always say, you can go the bean green route, you can do the ultrasonics. At the end of the day, the best thing, if your layer times were long enough that it's not completely soft, is a good old toothbrush. Get in there and give it a scrub, and that will clean all of it off the surface, and it will come out mint every time.
You bet. Now, with that said, there's something else I wanted to cover here. Getting back to Colby Olson's question, he says wash water from resin prints. Yes. Okay. So the way that I do it is I will take out my print and I will put it into an alcohol bath first. I will scrub out with a toothbrush or some other soft brush, even a small paintbrush. I've used that from time to time. Scrub all the resin away, give it a rinse in some clean alcohol. Then I will let that alcohol sit and evaporate off. Then I will take it over to a lightly soap added water, a warm water with just a drop of dish soap, and I give it a nice good cleaning, and then I leave it to dry for 24 to 48 hours before I do any work on it. And the reason that I do that is because I'm assured first and foremost that all of the resin is gone, like all of the loose resin is gone. Anything that might be collected in behind an arm or under a cape or in a handhole or anything like that, all of that is gone as well. and then it works out very well. But getting to your question about getting rid of that water, dump it in the gravel. If you've got some gravel, there was somebody who said they dump it in their gravel driveway. That's fine. You can put it down the sink. You want to strain it first. If you're just using water washable resin, you want to strain that first, get out any particulates that could go down the drain, and then just dispose of it that way. Or you can take it to your local recycling center or find out from your local municipality how you get rid of resin infused water. And they will usually have a way of doing that for you. So
at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff I do, even in winter, you guys got to realize that solar energy is enough to cause evaporation. And so 98% of the time, your best bet is if you have a spare basin or a bin, put it outside and give it the chance for the water to evaporate, for the resin to cure. And at the end of the day, you might have a little bit of particulate at the bottom that you can scrape out and reuse that, or just keep pouring it in there. It's just like similar to having a bacon grease jar. You're going to have a resin runoff jar. And as long as you don't have a boatload of impurities in there, like you're using a jug of simple green, if you're just using 90% water with a bit of that, you're going to, once it evaporates off, you're going to have a small concentrate in there. Mm-hmm. And that's the key with working with resin is a lot of people forget we're still dealing with chemical science here. And when it comes to drying off the prints, you can add a little bit of heat. What you have to understand, though, is that resin is cured from UV light, but the process of curing generates heat within itself. So that's why your model will come out dry after coming out of the resin curing process. But if you have water trapped in there, it's going to kind of cure with the little bubbles of water and all that. So it's kind of, I'm getting off on a bit of a tangent here, but the just don't go and blindly pour any kind of chemical ever down your sinks. There can be major legal consequences with your municipality depending on how the storm system works. And the last thing you want is your water from your resin going through a UV curing system at the end site there, clogging up their filters or causing damage. You'd be surprised how much it can do.
And you're not wrong about that. I just want to point out that we are going to be doing some resin episodes this month, where I've got a friend of mine who is playing a brand new game, and the little miniatures for the game are not available online. You can't buy the miniatures already pre-made. You have to print them. So I'm going to be printing some of these miniatures for him, and I'm going to be teaching him about 3D printing. So that episode is going to be coming up this month, as well as he's going to teach me how to play this game. And here's the cool thing, is because it's October, this is a horror game. So you get little pinheads and Michael Myers and Chucky dolls and all kinds of great things. Classic monsters as well. So we're going to be tackling some of that this month. Hope you guys will come and learn a little bit about resin printing, as well as I'm going to take you through the safety measures of resin printing. I really want you guys to be safe. If you're looking at getting into resin, I want you to know what the safety rules are and how to operate these types of machines correctly. We have a couple here in studio. You've got a couple as well, Brian. And it really is important. We've never really done a full-blown resin episode. We have talked about resin from time to time, but I think we're way overdue for doing a resin safety video. And how do you do resin? What programs do you use? How do you slice? How do you get the model over the printer? And what do you have to look for failure?
We're each about a couple of years into resin, and we haven't burnt ourselves yet. Let's put it that way. So for those of you who are waiting for that video, maybe before buying one, I'm going to tell you right now, go ahead and get it. You're not going to kill yourself in a week by having a chemical spill or something, but you do have to be smart with what you're handling.
That's very correct. Okay, so let's get back to this. We've got Christopher Nicholson. Is it possible to run 2 stepper motors on one driver? I have crazy idea. I have a CR-10S. Yes, you can run it off of one driver. The problem is that you're going to have to up the voltage for one on that stepper driver so that it can accommodate for 2 stepper motors. Secondly, you're going to have to get some sort of breakout board that will allow you to run 2 separate stepper motors off of one driver. So those are also available online. And thirdly, your crazy idea, just double check the internet before you. And you know me, I don't say go to the internet lightly, but just double check before you go out and spend a lot of money on things that may not work for you, okay?
And I've got some content in the still in the brainstorming and documentation era regarding steppers. But what you need to know basically is there are 2 different ways to hook up 2 steppers to the same driver, and each of them have their own benefits and caveats, and it goes right down to Ohm's law. So we're going to be talking about that. But if you are just trying to run 2 motors in parallel, honestly, at the end of the day, I actually do prefer the method of using a belt and pulley style system, because that's the one guaranteed way that you are not going to miss a step when trying to synchronize 2 stepper motors. At the end of the day, a stepper is a very stupid piece of hardware in that it's very easy for them to get out of sync. If you're looking at maintaining a very tight synchronization, I would look into an open-ended servo unless you need that larger torque. But we're going to talk about these technologies going forward. I know it's kind of stretching the scope normally of what we would consider as scope under the first layer, but my background is in electronics, and when I go and fabricate PCB motherboards and different designs, there are a lot of electrical theories that play into place to maximize your success. And as we're seeing with a lot of these knockoff, quick-to-the-market clone motherboards of long researched and more expensive boards, you start seeing shortcuts that might work for 85% of the users, or you might be that unlucky 15%. So when it comes to design, we're going to teach you what is going to be the 100% guaranteed good design.
You bet. So as we're getting closer to wrapping up here, I know we started a couple minutes late, so we're going to run a little bit over, but I do want to remind you guys that our new website, shopthefirstlayer.com, is coming soon. I know the countdown timer says 0 right now because it was supposed to be launched on the 1st, but I ran into a couple of issues, technical issues that I have to sort out first. I want you guys to have the best experience possible on that site and make it as easy for you to do shopping so that we can build out more inventory so that you guys can at some point buy some more. As far as merch goes, right now we have the t-shirts. I don't have mine on right now, but it says, "Let's get 3D printing." And that is based on the old 1980s or 1990s version of Darkwing Duck logo.
I think it was 94, but maybe that's me.
Yeah, you're younger than I am.
Misremembering my childhood. Yeah.
So that one we based that on the Darkwing Duck. I just thought it was cool. It had a real retro vibe to it, so that's why I designed it that way. And the next one coming out, should I spoil it? Jerry says no. What do you say, Brian? Should I spoil the next one?
No, they're going to have to go to our website.
All right, then I won't spoil the next one. But we have a couple of designs in the pipe that are based on pop culture. Let's just put it that way. We'll just say it's based on pop culture. So we hope that you guys are going to like them. We hope that you guys will buy one, help this channel out, because the channel needs all the financial help it can get. And I appreciate all of you that have helped us today with your super chats. Really appreciate that. Super chat's still open. We're going to keep it open now for another few minutes here. But Brian, you've got some stuff you've been working on that you've been slowly trying to put together the B-roll for your video. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, if I can remember it, yeah. I've actually been working on some CNC work for sure. I do have the Comgrow CNC, the Robo, and I've been putting it through its paces, actually. Unfortunately, I haven't been home for the past, 3 weeks or so, and I might be out here for another 3 weeks at this point. But prior to departing, I actually built an enclosure for it using a material called Sonopan. And for those of you who are looking at sound dampening your 3D printers and areas, I highly recommend you look into it. It's getting in more into the construction area where you're looking at adding drywall and plywood and so forth. But noise is, even with all of the silent steppers these days, can still be a big problem for people. And if it's not noise, it's also environmental controls. And as we've discussed in the past few live streams here, it doesn't take much sometimes to throw off a printer's dialed in basically operation there. So as the season's changing right now, and we were going to kind of talk a bit about this today, but never really came up. The season's changing. Where I'm at in Ontario, we're getting a lot of trees changing colors. For Family Guy fans, you may know us as leafers. But, the colors outside are green, brown, orange, real deep red. And it got me thinking over the past week how in the past year I've really neglected the colors of filament. And I would very much encourage you guys, especially as the fall rolls in here, as we get into Halloween, into Christmas, to go and explore new 3D printing colors and see what you can do without post-processing and painting and all that. I want to see your vibrant prints in the next few months, and I want to see what you think, what color matches with what print. But, when it comes to the CNC stuff, we're going to be printing parts for that with vibrant colors coming up. We're going to be just blending the two technologies so that you can see the world of subtractive manufacturing versus additive manufacturing. And with Richard recently covering the laser system here, we now have basically the perfect trifecta of manufacturing. We have a subtractive 3D manufacturing machine, we've got an etching machine, and now we've got the FDM printers. So between all that, we're going to see what you can do that you could not do 20 years ago.
Now, some of you may have seen on our Facebook page that I posted a slab of wood that had Friday the 13th written on it. And that was all laser etched in. And we're going to be covering that in an upcoming episode very soon as the rest of the parts come in. Something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and it's going to be a bit of a tribute to somebody I got to be friends with for a very, very short time in my life before he passed away. But he left a huge impact on me as a broadcaster and somebody working in the technology field. His name is Richard Brooker, for anybody who knows who Richard Brooker is and knows what he's done. He was most famous for playing Jason in Friday the 13th Part 3. He was the first man to wear the hockey mask as Jason Voorhees. He also worked on a lot of productions behind the scenes. If anybody remembers Hell's Kitchen, he did all the video work, all the Terranex work, where the cameras have to be out on the floor. They can't be connected back to the booth. They use a product called a Terranex. And what that does is basically transmits that signal back to the van or back to the truck. And Richard Brooker was instrumental in designing the Terranex system that a lot of Hollywood movies use now, a lot of television production use. And he was a technical director, I believe, on Hell's Kitchen for quite a number of years. And I got to meet him here in Calgary a number of years ago at a convention that we have called HorrorCon, which is put on by another friend of mine. And I got to tell you that he left an impression on me more so than anybody else, other than another person I became very close friends with, who is still with us, thankfully. I see as I get older, and now I'm in my mid-50s, and as I get older, I see that the people that I admire are now all passing away, which is kind of sad. But that being said,
you know what? Kind of on a random similar note, for those Canadians in our audience today, there was actually an article published the other day about Robert Munch, the book author there, and he is still with us. Unfortunately, they did announce that he has dementia, but he was doing a wonderful interview and talking about his career and his legacy. And for those international, take a look up at Robert Munch. His books have been translated into hundreds of different languages, and you'll probably recognize some of them across there. But he's a Canadian icon, and he's still around, much to my happy surprise today. So, cherish every moment. That's all we're going to really say is cherish every moment with your family, your friends, and make the most of things. And 3D printing allows you to express yourself in a way that you may have never been able to before. So Lithophanes, we love to see them, but also we love to see your creations, just a simple family sign. Or if there's a model you found online that you hand painted and put that effort in.
Yeah.
That's what this hobby is all about, is giving you the ability to make like you've never made before. And that's kind of our message going into this fall, is this year, make something special from the heart.
Be a maker. Just be a maker. And we buy 3D printers so that we can be makers. But we also buy tools so that we can be makers. Doesn't matter if you're a mechanic, a woodworker, or somebody who paints. You are a maker regardless of whatever you're doing. And 3D printing has allowed the masses to get into making in a whole new way. It's being taught in schools now. And it is something that I enjoy still to do. And that's why 4 years later, we're still doing this show. And we've branched off, of course, into doing what we do now, which is ask for help. And when you guys have problems, we're here to help you as best we can. And we will keep doing that. And we're going to keep marching forward. October is here. So for us, it is Halloween time. It's Halloween in the States. It's also for us Thanksgiving. We celebrate Thanksgiving in October, whereas our U.S. counterparts, I believe it's in November in the U.S. And
yeah, I think it's mid-November towards the end, but our American friends can share it with us, I'm sure. You know, we just get our early turkey fixings, and I just saw at Walmart today that the stovetop stuffing's down to 74 cents. So I'm dying a little inside, thinking, oh man, I don't have a stove here.
Well, you can make it in the microwave. Yeah, you can make it in the microwave.
Well, I know where I'm going. The Walmart across the street after this.
All right, guys. Thank you so very much for all of your questions today. Thank you to everybody that got in on our super chat today. We really appreciate that. And for those of you that are wondering, the first mystery box is going to be given away on the 17th of October. It'll be on our live stream, so we'll be picking our name right then and there on the live stream. Well, that live stream could be either here or somewhere else. We're in the works working with some folks right now that we may be going to be somewhere else on the 17th, but we are still going to do that draw.
Temporarily, we're not relocating.
No, we're not relocating. It's just I'll be out of
exploring.
I might be out of town on the 17th. But that being said, so how do you get involved? You have to be a subscriber. You have to hit that like button on the video. You also have to leave a comment. And that goes not just for our regular released videos, but also for our live streams. So we're collecting all those names daily to see if there's any changes. And you could be the next winner of some really cool stuff. And I can't tell you what it is, and I'm just bursting at the seams to tell you what's in these boxes, but I can't. If I contact you through email or through Facebook or through YouTube, you'll know that you're the winner on the 17th. And then we're going to be giving another one away on Halloween, the 31st of October. And then we'll tell you the dates for November. We've got all of our dates planned going into the rest of the year. So I hope you'll stick with us and help us celebrate 5 years when we get to this stage next October. I'm super excited about today, and I'm super excited to give away stuff to you guys. Tell your friends about the channel. Share it with your friends and family if they're into 3D printing or making, because we are going to be covering more of the making world as we move forward. Brian's got a CNC machine, a little desktop CNC. I've got the desktop laser, and we both have a lot of 3D printers between us. So we're here to help you. And watch our website, shopthefirstlayer.com. As new stuff gets added, we're going to try and add new stuff as fast as we can so that you guys can come shop with us. And we appreciate it.
And just so that you guys have your warning here, we are just about 4 weeks away from Halloween. So this is your official warning. You need to start printing your Halloween props now. And I want to see what you guys have in the works for this year. We always see the Christmas stuff go up and, automated lights and all that. I want to see your spooky stuff this year. So please let us bring us into your family this Halloween and show us what you're setting up with 3D printing or any kind of making. Please go over and post it on the First Layer, because we love to see it and we love to spur innovation with ourselves and with others.
I agree. And with that said, guys, Thank you. I'm sorry, I just looked over at the chat. My wife said
he's jittering. He wants to spoil everything.
I do.
Every time we do that,
it's like crack cocaine. You know, I'm just. And no, I don't do crack cocaine.
Okay, that's. I would go with like Kids at Christmas, but I see where your brain's going to now.
Well, I'm old. Remember, I spent a lot of time on the road with different acts.
Yeah, see, this is where we cut it off before YouTube starts cutting us out.
Yeah, yeah, you bet. Thank you, everybody, for wishing us a happy anniversary. And my wife said I'm the worst at keeping secrets, and I am. But I'm keeping this secret. You guys won't know. But remember to watch. Anybody who wins one of these boxes, if you get a special vintage, I'm going to call it vintage because it was the first one that we ever did, sticker, you'll also be receiving 10% off on shopthefirstlayer.com for your next order. So, yes, thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you for being members. Thank you for being supporters. Thank you for being subscribers. And we want to bring you another 4 years if we can, if you'll let us. And we are back on track. So until we see you next time.
Remember, the first layer is always your foundation to a great print.
I was hoping
Look
he
at
didn't.
that. See, I got it right. Oh.
Until we see you next week, guys. Have fun. We'll see you on Saturday with a brand new episode, and our members will get it on Friday afternoon or early evening. Have yourselves a great rest of the weekend. Brian, you have a great time out there. We'll talk soon. And
thanks, absolutely.
I'm
we'll
going
see you guys all soon.
I'm going to go see my friend Peter Reynolds tomorrow and ship out some stickers probably tomorrow. Bye.
Bye for now.
And we're out.